Hey guys, welcome back to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also finally gets around to that promise of answering a SAW question from a month ago. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs. Welcome back and happy Monday. And before we even get kicked off, I want to say a huge thank you to every single one of you that watch this show and watch all the videos I do, because this week, in fact, it was just yesterday on Sunday, I broke 2 million views on the channel, and that is all because of you guys. So I want to say a huge thank you for hitting that milestone. In fact, I just hit 1 million. We hit 1 million not too long ago. It's only been a handful of months, maybe 6 or 7. So we are growing amazingly fast, and that is all because of you guys. And again, I cannot thank you enough for tuning into the show and participating in the comments and asking the questions and helping me produce this show and all the other stuff we do on this channel. So again, I'm humbled by your superior firepower. Thank you all so much. And every time you guys comment and especially share, this really helps this channel grow. So again, thank you so much. Every single one of you guys and gals rock. Also, I want to share with you a programming note. Tuesday Tips and Tricks is not going away, but it is taking a pause for a few weeks. In fact, between now and around Thanksgiving here in the US, I'm going to take a little break from that show and get aggressive on cranking out some videos. In fact, I'm going to add a couple holiday specials as well. I'm going to try to get a buyer's guide in for this holiday and catch up on some videos. I promised you guys, I know I get a lot of questions. Hey Jonathan, where's that loadout video? Where's some gameplay footage? And like I said, I've got a big pile of reviews that are somewhere in the production cycle. So I want to get all those out and focus on that. So I'm going to spend my Tuesdays through Fridays working on all those to get those out for you. But enough of the programming notes. It is time to answer your questions. Lemon Bob asks, can you get a version 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, or even 8 gearbox into an M4? I'm kind of a noob in Airsoft. So Lemon Bob, the short answer on that is probably not without a ton of work and modding. The different versions of mech boxes were designed, and I think the numbers came from the Tokyo Marui days, to fit different version guns. Certain mech boxes could fit inside of the body of a certain gun. So for example, like an M4 here, it's a version 2. Now version 2 can also fit into a few other different gun bodies, the shells, whatever it looks like. And you know, version 3's AK and a handful of other guns as well. But considering that they're all designed to fit in their certain bodies and have unique characteristics like motor cages or no motor cages, like a motor in the grip, chances are you're not going to get those into another body without some major work. That said, it's probably not a reason you'd want to do that. I mean, they're kind of designed to go with the gun they're going to go with, and most mech boxes today are really solid. So yeah, stick with it. I mean, if you really wanted to try, it'd be a great project, I guess, to try to mod one to fit another. But I think overall, I would probably stick with the mech box version that's supposed to go with your gun. Airsoft reviewer HUD writes, great episode. What's the best way to increase your skills in Airsoft? I would definitely say it is a two-pronged approach. One is playing, getting out there playing, especially with your friends or teammates. I really find, to me, the most important thing for me is knowing what your teammates are going to do and what your friends are going to do when you play, so you don't have to worry about what they're going to do. So for example, if you're moving up, to know that they're going to lay covering fire for you, or they're going to watch your six. I think really working together enough, you eventually kind of learn this sixth sense and this intuition, and you know your team is going to do what they're going to do. I find that I play my best when I'm playing with my teammates, and we're all working together like that. We play together for so long. I mean, some of these guys for the better part of 7, 8, even 9 years. So it's almost like we don't have to say anything, and we know where each of us are. Now, also, I think the other thing too is to practice your skills. I mean, basic marksmanship, if you're really not down with like shooting while moving, moving to cover quickly, suppressive fire while moving to cover, just basic airsoft skills. I'm not saying like military grade stuff here. I'm just saying, you know, practice the basics. I mean, even if it's around your house from room to room, if you play a lot of CQB, you can practice room clearing with an empty gun. Obviously mag out, you know, battery out, all those sort of things. You could also practice if you have an enclosed backyard where your neighbors can't see you and you have a shooting range, or you can even use your garage. You can do that to practice basic marksmanship skills by setting up maybe some cans and trying to shoot them on the move. I think those are a lot of things you can do. Obviously, be mindful. You don't want to present that replica replica in public. So if you're going to do the backyard thing, make sure you have a backyard that's conducive to doing that, where you're not going to be brandishing this gun in your neighborhood and showing it off, and people are going to think you're out there, ready to shoot up the world. But all that said, I think those are really it. Practice your basic skills, understand where your gear is, understand where your mags are, so you can do fast mag changes, transitioning to secondaries, and then again, working with your teammates and your friends. I think the combination of those two are really going to get those skills. You're paying the man right? What do you think about using football cleats in outdoor games? Well, I think you could use them, especially if you used maybe taller cleats that have better ankle support. But remember, football cleats and soccer cleats or any cleats like that are designed for flat manicured fields like a football field or a soccer pitch or whatever. So moving to the airsoft field where you're not going to have that perfectly manicured flat field and the right turf, I would probably still opt, in my case, for something with better ankle support, like a combat boot. I personally wear Loa Zephyrs. Not exactly the cheapest boot in the world, but I've had them for years. They've held up, great boots. I actually can't say enough about how nice they are. They're kind of really sneaker feeling. They're more cushy, but they do give me the ankle support. It's like a mid-rise or a high boot would probably be your best bet versus the cleats. I wouldn't say don't use them, but I think from a safety standpoint, having that ankle support would be a lot better. Yuri199612 writes, "Hi, what does open bolt system do, and what's your opinion about it?" So I'm guessing you're talking about WE's open bolt system versus gun firing from an open bolt versus a closed bolt when like real firearms. So looking at the WE open bolt system, it really harkens back to their original design of their gas blowback rifles, where the bolt had like kind of the barrel went through the bolt. So if you pulled the bolt back or pulled the charging handle back and you looked inside the bolt, rather than being a cavity there where the magazine mates up, there's actually a brass barrel that ran through it, and it just didn't look right. It was a good system. It was the way they started out, and they migrated over to what's called an open bolt system. So that was the system that had the barrel in it, or the extension of the barrel in it, and then the new system that is kind of like almost every other gun you see, like the KWA LM4, the WA design, like the GMP gas blowbacks, are all what you would call open bolt, because there's nothing in that bolt, it's just wide open. So yeah, that's really the modern design. No one's really using that closed bolt system anymore, or that brass barrel, the old WEs. And if you see those around, they had their own mags, they had their own stuff, probably not worth picking up, because they're going to be a little more challenging to track down the components and parts for if you have an issue. But if you're a collector, maybe worth picking up. GMC Nerf Project writes, "Hey John, I was wondering if the airsoft version of LMGs are any more durable than standard AEGs. I have a JG M4S system, and I'm thinking of buying a box magazine, a bipod foregrip, and a high MAH battery so I can use it in a support gun roll. Do you think my AEG will be able to deal with all of those thousands of rounds through it, or will fall apart long before an Echo 1 saw would?" So this, by the way, is a question I've been promising to answer for like 4 shows now, and I've been having to cut it and push it off, and I'm getting you this time, I promise. So my thought on this is, having a few saws in my lifetime and then having a ton of M4s, the saw mechbox, the 249 or anything along those lines, for the most part, are built way more beefy internally to handle full auto fire. Also, most of those are designed to shoot full auto only, which most big events and some field owners are going to require that it performs like a real saw, that you're not going to take it to semi-auto. I mean, it's designed to lay down that fire. Those are typically also going to have some sort of relay trigger, or make it real easy to put a MOSFET in. So all those things really make a saw a bit more robust. Now, that said, could we not turn your M4, your JGS system, into a support weapon? Absolutely. I think over time, especially if you use it in cold weather, you might have an issue with the front of your mech box, kind of maybe cracking or wearing out under a lot of stress. But aside from that, I mean, your gears, your piston, your cylinder, piston head, most of those parts are pretty much exactly the same under the hood. I think you're going to see your trigger might burn out a bit sooner because it's not a relay type in that M4 enhanced version, but if you picked up one of those and added in there, I think you would definitely then build a gun that could handle that sustained full auto fire. I think the only thing holding you back between the two is if you ever plan on taking this to a big event or some major fields, one, you won't be able to use that M4 as a support gun because it's not a support gun, and they're going to require you to really carry like a PPK, an RPK, or like a 249 or a 240 in place of it. So if you're planning on ever growing into an event or going to one of those events, I would say pick up a real support gun and go that route versus turning your JGS system into a support gun. Hope that helps. All right, that's it for the question section. Of course, that means it is time for the video recommendation of the week. And this is a video by Popular Airsoft. And by the way, if you guys don't visit Popular Airsoft's website, that's a great place for airsoft news, updates, all the stuff going on. I mean, the guys over there put on a fantastic website, and they're always on top of the latest stories. And they're not just regurgitating stories either. They're actually writing commentary, breaking news. I can't say enough about what the work the guys and gals at Popular Airsoft do. But I'm going to talk about one of their videos right over here. This is one of the videos covering the SMG rattle by Incentive Designs. And it's really a neat concept. It's kind of adding a little bit more realism to it. So what they've done is they've taken their flash generator, their muzzle flash generator, which I actually did a review on. I'll put the link down in the show notes. And they've added it with basically a big speaker. So when the gun fires, it sounds like a real gun firing. You get the muzzle flash because of the muzzle flash generator, and all those pieces together create this support weapon that sounds incredibly realistic. And you can change the sounds of the rounds being fired. So I think they make it like 240 Bravo, 249, and a bunch of other rounds. Really, really cool. Here it is mounted in a van. I've seen it mounted outside as well. And they're working on a rifle mounted version too that actually will do the same thing. So yeah, check it out. I think it's a really cool concept to add some serious realism, especially if you guys are going to the hardcore milsim stuff. But yeah, check out Popular Airsoft's video of the Incentive Designs SMG rattle. Well, guys and gals, that is it for this episode of Airsoftology Mondays. And if you want to get your question on, remember, it's really simple. Just put your comment right down there in the comment section below and vote up the ones you guys want to see me answer. And if you don't get your question answered in the next show, keep putting it down there, keep voting it up, and I promise I'll get to it. In fact, you saw this week, it took me almost 4 weeks, I think, to get the LMG versus non-LMG question answered. I've been trying to get it answered, but promise you this, if you put it down there, I'm gonna get to it if it's a great question and it's getting voted up. And again, thank you all for helping me hit 2 million views, and thank you for answering my question about the podcast, whether it should be once a month, twice a month, or video. I think I got your answers compiled. It was a little closer than I thought, but it looks like one side won out over the other. I'm not gonna give away the winner just quite yet, so stay tuned. We'll see if we can get that thing kicked off here sooner than later. Well, thanks again for watching, and until next week, get out, go play some airsoft, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.